Welcome to the Cannabis Report. I'm your host, Santi. You can follow me at Facebook and Instagram and Twitter at TheLordBizwa. And please drop a like and subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button because we're going to be releasing weekly videos giving you the latest news and insight into the cannabis industry. So welcome to the Cannabis Report. Today I'm sitting down with Rhea and Bess Ludahl. They are the owners of the Albany Canna Kitchen and Research locally here in Oregon. One of the best places that I've ever been to get your OMMP card. Little plug. Today we're going to be talking with them about the opioid crisis, update to a lot of the cannabis laws, as well as currently a lot of pain patients trending towards cannabis rather than continuing opioids. So, welcome to the show, guys. Thank you so much for being here.
It's great to be here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I've been really excited. I watched your video, your sort of TED Talk. I would like to say, because honestly, we should get you in contact with those people.
There you go.
Because I think you would be fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Love your delivery on all of that. Real quick, I wanted to do a little bit of a product review, especially since you guys specialize with edibles, because you really push like a smokeless
Cannabis Remedies, not edibles.
Mm-hmm.
Edibles, people think of brownies, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Capsules, tinctures, salve, liniments, suppositories, face wash, shampoo, massage oil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you know what, users like us or watchers, I'm sure we have a bit of a slightly stunted audience. A lot of times weed humor is a little bit juvenile, and the suppositories everybody giggles at. But as somebody that has used them, it's no laughing joke. It's actually fantastic. I mean, we're talking massive amounts of pain relief, pretty quickly set in, and I mean, like, let's be real. I cough after I take a dab every time, and that's hard on the body. That stresses your muscles, your back, your neck. I've thrown my back out coughing after a dab, and so having the ability to do something that hits me basically as fast and harder, that was actually an amazing method, and it was great when I had a sore throat. But yeah, I figured since you guys are all about the smokeless, I'd eat a little edible before we started filming. This is the s'mores flavored chocolate bar from Happy Kitchen. And I'm trying to see, they're out of Portland. So if you guys are ever interested in checking these out, the flavor was really good. Would you like to try some?
I would try one square. What's the dose on it?
One square is going to be about 4.7 milligrams of THC.
2 wouldn't hurt me, I suppose.
Yeah? Okay. I'll make sure to get you some. Here. We'll get you some marshmallow on that. There you go.
Mom, do you want to try a little?
Like I said, the flavor is great. So far, the high is this really nice, like I would say a hybrid high. I've got a little bit of relaxation in my body. Definitely feel it in my arms and my hands, you know. But like I have a kind of a chatty, like happy head high. So this should be good. I'm gonna be coupling that with some send off. I'm not sure how to pronounce the farmer name. I think it's Marikai. Anyway, I was gonna hit that real quick, but while I do that, why don't you tell me about when you guys established and got started?
So that goes clear back to 2011. We opened on 11/11/11, but of course there was a lot of work before that.
Oh, tell me about it. One aside real quick. 11/11/11 is a very important date for me because that was when the video game Skyrim released it, and I ended up pulling like a 2-day long bender on that game, and it was awesome. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
So that was the day Albany's Canna Kitchen and Research began. It's been quite a ride. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of changes. I'm not up on all the laws anymore because they just simply don't pertain and
Right.
whatnot.
You're not OLCC certified
No.
or licensed.
No.
Excuse me. Do you guys still operate within like the OHA and do you do any sales of no, you're all just consulting and
Consulting in the doctor's office, and I teach. I do a whole lot of educating, and I love that.
that's so cool.
Yes.
I love how many doctors do you have come in? Just one?
Two, and it's 2 to 4 times a month.
Yeah. Okay. I always, anytime I get customers at the dispensary I work at, Beaver Bowls, anytime I get customers coming and asking, well, where can I get my OMMP card? I'm like, Canna Kitchen in Albany. Hit them up.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you guys are amazing. And I wish I could remember her name. But like one of the doctors that it's actually the same doctor that my wife has seen the last 2 years. And she actually recognized my wife when she walked in and was
Dr. Von Knox.
Yeah.
Janice Von Knox. Yep.
She's amazing.
She is. Everyone
I
loves
love her so much.
Yes.
Just the kindest soul. Like all I want to do is just like come home and just be part of my family. Like
Yes.
just be my mom. Anyway, she's great. I love your guys' doctors there.
And her husband then is our second doctor.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Perfect. That's awesome. I'll have to meet him.
Yes. Their 2 daughters are also doctors, and their son is an attorney. So, yes. Wow. And, yeah, the doctors Knox, they teach about cannabis now, and, yes, they're doing a lot.
Oh, that is so cool.
They speak all over. It's amazing where they go, all over the world.
That's so cool.
Yes.
Nice. All right. Well, real quick, I thought we would talk a little bit about some of the headlines that we've been following recently, including I wanted, especially because of what you guys specialize in, I wanted to point out we have the CDC. There we go. I'm sorry, you might have to cut this out. I didn't think it would fuck up with me. I thought it would just be a quick boop. Okay, so the CDC has been following the opioid epidemic. And that being said, what they found is that from 1999 to 2017, more than 700,000 people have died due to opioid or drug overdose. Around 68% of them 68% of drug overdose deaths in 2017 were on opioids. We're looking at a 6 times. We're like right now we're hitting 6 times higher than where it was in 1999, and on average, 130 Americans die every day from an opioid overdose. So what we're finding right now is that there's surveys that are coming out where people are switching from their opioid regimen for pain management, and they're switching over to cannabis. We've got 41% of pain clinic patients are reducing, if not stopping, opioid use.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah. And what sucks is, like, on my end of things, being a bud tender, I'm not allowed to really like make claims about medical benefits, you know.
The OLCC made sure of that when they took dispensaries over. Yes.
And it's really unfortunate because the OHA, they were really cool about it. Like the one thing they wanted us to be like really, really clear about is you probably shouldn't smoke when you're pregnant. Like, that's the one thing they wanted us to be clear about.
Because of the smoking part, you should use cannabis when you're pregnant, though, and feed your endocannabinoid system and the endocannabinoid system of that baby growing inside you. That's insane because, I'm sorry, but the pills that the pharmaceuticals are pushed upon you, the mothers, cause birth defects. It's insane. A canna baby is the happiest, healthiest baby you'll ever see.
There's actually a report I read about a couple years ago, and I read it because I got the job at the dispensary, and it was a woman. The study she did has actually basically been swept under the rug and not even acknowledged by the American physicians, but she's gaining support in the UK now. She did a study in Jamaica.
Yes. The 25-year study, perhaps.
Yes. So when I was reading about this, I was blown away because my wife used cannabis while pregnant.
Good.
She was preeclamptic for her first pregnancy to the point where she ended up on bed rest for probably the last 2.5 to 3 months of that pregnancy, and so her body was like, with her second pregnancy, her body was stressing, and especially because she was a cigarette smoker and wanted to quit while she was pregnant, her body would stress. But then we'd compensate with cannabis. Well, this study has shown, or what this doctor found, was that she started following pregnant women and doing measurements of the fetus, and with that, getting weights and all that, and then when the baby was born, she would get measurements and weights and all that, and then she followed them up until they were in, like, starting elementary school, and then she checked back in when they were like 13, and then what she found, because she had a control group that didn't use any cannabis whatsoever. And what she found was there was a higher percentage of the canna babies that were more social.
Absolutely.
That had an easier time expressing and dealing with their emotions.
Yes.
And they had more outside thinking. Like, they were able to take in more abstract concepts and be able to think outside the box. Yeah. And that was really cool, because I've noticed that in my kids, is that they do have that ability to think outside the box better than I do.
Right on.
And like, I'm a very linear thinker, very, very linear. I'm not diagnosed, but I'm pretty certain that I'm in the autism spectrum.
You're not alone.
Yeah. Dude. I mean, that's the thing is people want to claim that autism is on the rise, and it's like, no, we just understand it better. We're just recognizing it. It's to me, it's just a part of our evolution, and there's far more people that are in the spectrum than they even know. But for me, cannabis has really helped me start going down that road. 4 years ago, my wife got cancer. Oh. And so she got her med card, and we started putting her on RSO, and she was also smoking cannabis. And so I joined in because I had read so much about microdosing helping with anxiety and depression. And that is a really common thing for people with autism or in the autism spectrum, is having anxiety and depression issues. Sure. And so I started using cannabis to help with that. And what I've noticed is that over the years, I've definitely been able to express my emotions in a healthier way. Right. I've been able to actually think about my emotions in a healthier way. Mm-hmm. And it's just overall improved my life. Admittedly, there are times where I feel it does kind of drag me down a little bit, and I kind of lose my motivation.
You're using the wrong strain at that point.
That's, oh my gosh, we're gonna geek out so much here in a little bit. I can't wait.
back, if I could.
Yeah, I want to backtrack to the endocannabinoids.
Oh, we'll do that too.
Okay.
But the United States did a study also. I have a dear friend who failed a UA, if you will, when her child was born. And every year she had to take that kid in to be tested for this, that, and the other. You don't hear anything about that study, but it's a study they did on all the kids whose parent or mothers failed a UA because they want to know what's going on. And her child, it's the best child of her three, you know, the brightest, et cetera, et cetera. So it's in the U.S. too. They just don't admit it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean that would interrupt their agenda.
Exactly.
that would that interfere with their
The
campaign
truth.
financiers.
Yes.
Yeah, man, we're gonna have to talk a lot. Like I don't think we're gonna fit all that we can talk about in this one episode.
No.
But okay, I do want to backtrack a little bit to the endocannabinoids. Because that is something that we have only just started getting like information on as far as like the mainstream. Leafly only has maybe one or two articles talking about them. I know that as a bud tender, we don't hear about them very often. And they don't teach about them in medical school. So number one, how do we even know they exist?
So they were discovered in 1992. The endocannabinoid system was over in Israel. Dr. Mishulam, who discovered or isolated CBD and THC back in the 1960s.
Yeah,
He studied this all that time.
The Israelis have been allowed to
They're
study
using our money
cannabis.
to do that because the United States can't say they're doing it. So we pay them and do it.
That's interesting.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes.
I knew that they were decades ahead of us and that they were starting to find strains and terpenes that help to basically direct what that cannabis will target.
There you go.
But it's interesting to think that such a conservative country could be that far ahead of us, but
they're not. We're with them, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So he was working with CBD and discovered the endocannabinoids. What do they do?
So they mimic the same cannabinoids that are in the cannabis plant. Endo means endogenous, which is within the body. So we have receptors all over every inch of our skin, so our largest organ for cannabinoids. And we have receptors on each organ within our body. And then the endocannabinoid system regulates every regulatory system that we have. So it's the boss of all the bosses. It's your superintendent, you might say. Yes. So
Cool.
Yeah, and cannabis brings our body to homeostasis or perfect balance. And that's why, because it just gets everything running exactly how it's supposed to.
So I read a while back that that our endocannabinoid system even functions with our memory.
Oh, yes.
What I read, and we couldn't find this article. We all tried here at the show, but what the article said was that essentially cannabinoids and they even cited it as CBD is essentially like used as your short-term memory. And so they were proposing a theory that the reason stoners don't have short-term memory is because they're flooding their system with so many cannabinoids that your brain's essentially just dumping and saying, it's too much, I can't handle this. Interesting. I wonder how much credence is in that. Like, we obviously need to do more research. And
oh, heavens, yes. That's exciting.
yeah. I've also read that endocannabinoids are found like literally the main component of breast milk.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's why it's so important to use cannabis when you're breastfeeding, really, because it'll help you make more and better and, yes, Beautiful milk. Oh my God. I had some breast milk tested at a testing facility, which will remain unnamed because they're not supposed to do that, I guess. They found
Sure.
out no
Oh,
body
okay.
fluids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So isn't that weird? But it was, it showed metabolites of CBN, the sleep molecule in cannabis.
Yeah.
Cannabis, excuse me.
Yeah. If I remember right, that one's also found to help with neurological things, like will even help with tremors from
Parkinson's and whatnot.
Parkinson's. Yeah.
You know what's crazy good for Parkinson's is the root and just fresh leaf. Mm-hmm. It stops them sometimes for days. I had a cousin that took 2 root capsules with a meal on Sunday afternoon, and she has food spilling tremors.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they stopped from Sunday at noon when she ate until Thursday on 2 capsules. Yes.
I've watched videos of kids in the midst of grand mal seizures, and they've
Absolutely.
done even just a foot rub
Yes.
with like a roller, and they just roll it onto the bottom of their foot, and then you can literally watch them slow down
Just stop. Yes.
and then just stop. I watched a video of this guy. He had, I think it was, I mean, we'll have to look it up, but it might have been cerebral palsy, and they gave him a CBD spray and like in his mouth, and like because of his convulsions and stuff, it was really hard for him to talk. And then like as it slowed down, he was actually able to like vocalize, and suddenly everybody could understand everything he had to say. And for years, he was basically incoherent. And all of a sudden, he had a voice.
Isn't that powerful?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've watched dogs in the midst of grand mal seizures get a
Yes.
CBD spray in their mouth, and instantly, like within seconds. There was one in particular, it was a pit bull, and you could literally count 3, 2, 1, and then he was like totally fine. Was like, hey, let's go play ball. You know, it was great. I have been reading about CBD helping with autism, and I do have a 5-year-old son that is nonverbal autistic.
Why?
We noticed really early on that there was something different with him, and so we got him diagnosed, I think, at 3 years old. And so we're gonna go back soon and actually get more of a specific diagnosis, whether it's like Asperger's or anything like that. But I've been reading about the effects of CBD helping with that. I've been sort of nervous to do this because there's such a taboo, and that really sucks.
Let me help.
Okay.
Fresh leaf, even dry, in a smoothie and have him drink it. You would not believe the difference in an Alzheimer's patient I have. When she drinks just half of it, you can see it just that fast. And she can speak again. And she's very advanced, and she comes back quite a bit.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of thing that I've been reading about.
And it's all true.
Autism with cannabis is they see just leaps and bounds, people shifting from nonverbal to being able to verbalize and just have full conversations.
Can you imagine how that must feel for that person?
Right. No, I know. There's so many times where I'm hanging out with my youngest, like we call him Squish. That's his nickname. And there's so many times when I'm hanging out with Squish and I'm having conversations with him, but it's not that he's responding to me and talking like we are. What I'm watching is his facial expressions and his gestures. We taught him a little bit of sign language. We personally need to learn more.
Yes, do it.
But what I've found is that he's there. He's in there. He hears me. He understands everything we're saying.
Yes.
He really does understand it and follows it. He knows what each of the individual words say, but like there's just a disconnect for him to say it and say it clearly. It's almost like he doesn't quite know how to move his tongue and his lips correctly, you know? I swear he's stuck in this like permanent smile. His lips always pulled back. He's adorable. But Yeah, like I said, I've been really hesitant because I'm a bud tender. And so like even if I had anything like a DUI or if like maybe somebody saw this and was like he's giving his kids pot, like,
Our doctor will sign their card.
yeah,
Yep.
honey, let's look into this.
Yes, you want to do that. It'll be life changing. And just
Yeah.
leaf, not even bud, truly, in a smoothie will change his life.
That's it. I might consider that.
Please
Thank
do.
you.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna go ahead and take a little break just so that I can get some water because the cottonmouth is real from this send off. Oh, before I go, I will tell you about the high. It's pretty freaking energetic. Like this pepped me up a little bit. I'll admit the edible was starting to slow me down, but this pepped me right up. But yeah, when we get back, we'll talk about some of the California laws because I mean we've actually finished on the perfect segue for that. So yeah, when we get back, we'll talk about California's new smokeless cannabis for kids laws. You ever notice that cannabis makes water taste amazing? Like, oh my gosh, the cottonmouth was real. Thank you. I apologize for the wait.
No problem.
You mentioned the cottonmouth. Interesting connection to the eyes.
Yes. So strains that give patients cottonmouth or people, not everyone's a patient. I just think of them as one because all cannabis use is medicinal. Mm-hmm. But strains that cause cottonmouth are great for glaucoma because they help dry up the aqueous fluid, so it brings down the eye pressure. That's what it's doing. And the red eye that you get when you get red eye, those strains are good for macular degeneration because your eye's getting red as the vessels opening up and getting more blood pressure there, and that's what macular degeneration needs is more blood flow.
Oh, interesting. I've got some of those like floaty proteins like in my right eye especially. Is there anything that'll help with that?
Stop smoking, it's a coughing, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough.
I'm sorry. Those hard truths that nobody wants to hear.
I know.
Right?
No, it's okay. Look, I've not necessarily been the best in my body. I'm trying to make several changes, and I'm willing to stop cigarettes.
Please do. Yes, that would be wonderful. Yes.
But I love smoking my herb.
Yeah.
All right.
But when you use smokeless, you don't even want to smoke as much. It's crazy.
Yeah. I've definitely noticed that help with CBD. Like CBD will make me just not crave anything. It just makes me so content.
Isn't that nice? Yes, that's what I tell people. It's a feeling of well-being.
Yeah, like whenever somebody asks me like, well, what does CBD do? Like I'm like, well, you won't feel stoned or high. You'll just feel good. Like it'll just be chill. Like or when I'm hanging out, like when I'm talking to the college kids, I'm like, okay, well, if you get a strain that has some CBD in it, it's like really good for anxiety, and so it's like an extra boost of like the fuck it's. Like you just don't give a shit. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about this because this is interesting and I like this. California is passing some legislation to legalize smokeless cannabis for kids.
Excellent.
So we're talking like the
Elixirs and
elixirs. We're talking tinctures, salves,
capsules.
Thank you. I was thinking supplements was the word that kept coming. They also are passing another bill alongside that's going to allow for clinical trials.
Finally.
Yes. Thank goodness for progressive bills coming out. And they want to do tax breaks for companies that are willing to donate excess cannabis to low-income families or people that don't have a lot to purchase with. I think that's actually a really interesting part of this. Because here in Oregon, the OLCC has basically almost started to cripple the OMMP program essentially, and
Started?
yeah, started.
Completely?
Yeah. So, could you actually go into that a little bit? Like, what are some of the regulations that are damaging this?
Well, when they put the $200 grower fee on it, it took the incentive out of growers to grow for people. That was the first thing. And then all the reporting that's just ridiculous. And then when they took the number of people that you could grow for, you can only grow for 2 if you're in the city limits now. And you can't grow for yourself and 2 others. It's 2 cards, your own included. If you have 2 cards at your house in town, you can't have your own 4 recreational. Right. Unless you have another person over the age of 21 at your home. But if you're growing your 6 medical plants, you cannot have your 4 medical or your 4 recreational.
Sure.
Why? Why do I have to use my medical if I want to recreate on Friday night?
Huh. I didn't even know all this.
It's nuts. It's ridiculous nuts.
I shouldn't admit to that. And
well, you work in an OLCC store though, not an OMMP.
That's true.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah. And we don't have any intentions of growing. We do have a grower, so that's cool. Shout out to Bess.
Appreciate them, hug them, hold them. Yes.
Yeah.
And if anyone is a grower and wants to help patients, please call us at the Canna Kitchen. We always have patients looking for a good grower, a reputable person.
Heck yes. Yes.
Sincerely, yes. 541-981-2620.
Sweet. Yes. I actually at my shop, I'm always asked, hey, do you know any growers or anything? And I'm like, no, not really.
It's interesting. When the OMMP started, you had to have a grower to be in the program.
Yeah.
So we've come a long way, far, far away.
That's really. They also it seems like they really interfered with even growers getting their medicine to patients. Is there supposed to be a tracking system now, like the
They
metric?
have to report, yeah, that's been going on for a while. They have to report all the ounces they give to them, when and who it is, all that, yes.
Oh, wow. And why did the OLCC have to get involved?
Greed.
That's my thought this whole time is like, admittedly, when the legalization was first proposed here in Oregon, I voted no because there was no regulation whatsoever. It was just like weed's legal, the end. And I was like, no, look, I want testing.
Yeah.
And then the next bill came out and it was like, okay, we're gonna have the OLCC will have they made it seem like the OLCC was gonna have a separate division. And it really seemed like, I don't know, to me, I was like, okay, I guess that's better than nothing. But what I didn't know was that the OLCC was going to treat it so much like liquor. And it is so not like that. It's not. And so some of the regulations I feel like are almost damaging to the reputation because there's so many people that have never tried cannabis whatsoever, and they come in and they talk to me like it's some dangerous chemical. Like they're like, okay, well, like how much am I getting in this, and what do I? And it's like you don't worry, you're not gonna have to run to the hospital.
You're not gonna die.
yeah,
you can't die.
Yeah. It's just you actually just reminded me. There was a doctor, a coroner in the Midwest. I want to say it was in Minnesota a few months ago that wrote as a cause of death in a young girl, cannabis overdose.
Oh boy, I hope they strung him up.
So far, I think it still stands. I think it was just somebody that was like, I just want to have the first.
That could be, huh?
I don't know.
Wow.
Or it's just propaganda to damage it, and it's annoying. But fighting that glaucoma.
There you go.
All right. Real quick, what did you bring with you today?
I brought some topical salve. I call it super salve.
Super salve.
if you have anything that hurts, you put Super Salve on it, and the pain goes away.
Ooh, that looks pretty. Is this a coconut oil base?
No, I don't use coconut oil anymore. It just doesn't go in the skin that well.
Sure.
That has apricot seed oil and almond oil and a little bit of castor oil
Ooh,
and
cool.
Olive oil. And they're all top of the line. Really good.
That's nice. I at our shop we sell like a more commercialized version. It's called Rescue Rub, and I just even like looking at it, I could imagine that this is incredibly effective in smelling it. I love castor oil. I like to use it in my hair even.
It's a good, yes, it's wonderful.
And I don't know if anybody's ever noticed in this show, but I love my hair. I figure I got like two things going for me. I'm kind of funny and I've got pretty nice hair.
You've got lots going for you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Here, I wanted to throw some questions at you because I feel like you could probably answer these pretty well. All right. So, do you need a license or permit to get medicinal cannabis?
Yes, you have to have your OMMP card to be a patient to get medical cannabis and to get medical cannabis at a dispensary. I guess I'm finishing that sentence with, okay? And what that does is that saves you the 20% tax, and it allows you to buy products that are much stronger in the dispensaries that have the medical grade products.
Yes, that's actually. I'm glad you specified that. One of the things that on my end of the cannabis industry is if we were to carry any medical grade things, it would have to be in its own separate display case with its own separate storage. Like for us, we use gun safes to lock everything up, so it would have to have its own safe. And
what do they do at the liquor stores at night? I roll, lock the doors, and go out.
Yeah,
I get so tired of that, but we're going to treat it like alcohol.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sorry, I wasn't going to go down that road.
No, it's okay. Like I don't mean to like get depressed, but it's like every time like that's like one of the biggest things about my job that like I'm like not happy about. Like I got into working in a dispensary because I believe in cannabis as a medicine. I watched my wife go through cancer, and we had I think after 8 months we had a 48% reduction in the size of the tumors.
Right on.
And her oncologist even was like, "You've made me a believer."
Right.
She was like, "From here on, I'm gonna recommend this. Like, I'm not supposed to recommend it, but I'm, you know." And so that's why she's gonna stay anonymous.
Yes.
But you know, and then I felt like I definitely feel like especially when I'm hitting sativas, my depression goes, my motivation comes up. Like I get more creative, I do more writing. Admittedly, if I hit it really heavy, I don't. At that point, I start playing video games.
So, yes, and that makes me think of microdosing. Okay, there's 5 conditions especially that you want to microdose for. Pain, anxiety, insomnia, depression, and heart conditions.
Sure.
Because too much makes all those conditions come on with cannabis, because cannabis is biphasic.
Oh. What does
that's why
biphasic mean?
That means that if you're treating something with it and you use enough, then you fix that. You can't sleep, you use a little bit, you go to sleep. You use too much, it keeps you awake. So instead of doing what you want it to do, it'll do the opposite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it'll cause anxiety and the paranoia and that by using too much.
I'll be honest, I've only noticed like 2 strains that'll make me paranoid. One of them being Gorilla Glue number 4. For some reason, whenever I smoke that one, I'm just like, what if I get in a car accident tomorrow?
Wow.
All right. So, what are the steps to get your OMMP card? Because I get asked this all the time in the shop.
Okay. I always recommend that people ask their own primary care physician. It has to be a DO or an MD that can sign the form, and they can get the form from me or off the state website or whatever. If that doesn't work, then call me, 541-981-2620. Sorry.
No, it's perfect.
Thank you. We'll get you set up with an appointment at Albany's Canna Kitchen. We have 2 doctors that come in each month, 2 to 4 times, and they're amazing. It's Dr. Knox and Dr. Von Knox, and they are great doctors. We have no complaints.
Oh yeah. No, like at the beginning of the show, I blew up Dr. Von Knox. She's awesome.
Yes.
Actually, that'll be interesting. Currently, here in 2019, what kind of fees are we looking at?
They're outrageous. If you're a veteran or on SSI, and SSI is, it's not just Social Security, okay? Then it's only $20 to the state. If you have food stamps, it's $60. If you have the Oregon Health Plan, it's just $50. If you don't have any of those things, it's $200 per year. It's ridiculous. It is. It was $100 a year, and there were far too many people in the program, according to the state, and so they doubled it and cut it tremendously. Yes.
Yeah, leave it to the politicians to want the best for us.
There you go.
Okay, well, you already covered how to make a doctor's appointment. Yeah, okay, so your primary care physician doesn't necessarily need to be the one to sign off on this.
Correct, but
Okay.
they can.
They
And
can.
if they tell you they can't, then it's an internal policy. Many of them will try to say, oh, I can't prescribe a Schedule I drug. Well, the form that they sign and send to the state clearly states on the last thing it says is, this is not a prescription for the use of medical marijuana. Well, I don't know what that form is, but a prescription for the use of, but that's what it says that it is not. And so many doctors will sign it then because that's what it says, because they're not prescribing a Schedule I drug.
So if you have a doctor that's not into it, just point out that little clause.
Yes.
Let's see. Okay. Yeah, medical cannabis. This is actually something that I'm really interested in about. Okay. So we covered that you can get medical grade stuff at a recreational shop. I don't personally know of any recreational shops in the local area that cover anything medical. Now that the recreational market has basically exploded and then started to implode a little bit and then will explode again. Is there even a market for medical shops? Are there any medical shops in Oregon?
I believe there is one left. There might be 2, and they are only medical, strictly medical, because it's a zoning thing. Their city won't let them have recreational there.
Oh.
Yes, isn't that awful? There are a couple of dispensaries over in Albany that have
Medical grade
the
stuff?
medical grade stuff, yeah.
Okay, cool. Because like I honestly would like to be able to direct patients that come in.
Albany Alternative, I know in Albany has a separate room in that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, my boss will be like, "No, don't."
I know,
Sorry,
but you know
I want to help
real.
people.
Well, it's like I do. I tell people, go to their own doctor first before you come give me money. I want you to go to your doctor. Get them on board.
That's cool. That's fair. It's a good idea because honestly, having them on board, they can be more aware of what they're prescribing you.
Yes, and that's very important. I want to hit this real quick. If you ever are on a prescription drug that says don't take grapefruit with this, that applies to cannabis as well.
Ooh.
Oh, right. And that's because here's what happens. It's the P450 enzyme that metabolizes those drugs and cannabis as well. So cannabis will tie up those enzymes and your body can't metabolize out those other drugs. So they sit in your body a lot longer. The prescriptions do.
Interesting.
Thank you.
My wife was on a prescription for a while that said don't eat grapefruit, and she was still using.
So you want to offset it by a couple of hours.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's great advice. Okay. Here, last thing I'll actually ask you about. You were mentioning what is important as far as consuming with your cannabis. So what were you referencing for that? Because like I constantly get asked about, like, people tell me that edibles don't work on them. So what were you referencing?
So it's what you eat and when you eat it. If you want to get high on an edible, eat some fat and eat your edible at the same time. A bowl of ice cream, for example. Because then your liver's going to be metabolizing that fat and will metabolize the THC at the same time and get you high.
Because the THC bonds
attaches
with the,
to fat and goes to get metabolized.
With the lipids.
If you don't want to get fat, if you don't want to get high, eat your ice cream or whatever your fat is and wait half an hour, 45 minutes, and then take your cannabis, and then you're not going to get that first pass through the liver and get that high. Another great way to avoid the high is to use cannabis suppositories. Because it's the same thing. It doesn't do the first pass with the portal vein typically. Suppositories are the very best way to use this medicine. I know it sounds crazy. I've told a lot of people to stick it and insert the round in. It's much more comfortable. But it's because it goes right in through the anal canal walls. And, it's simply amazing. For men, the prostate issues can be fixed in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So. I had a buddy that used suppositories for back pain.
Amazing for back pain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. His fart smelled like weed, too. It was awesome.
Skunk. Well, I would get many people when I used to have a dispensary, and I don't want to go there, but it was the best medical dispensary in the state. And we always gave out $10 worth of capsules and suppositories on someone's first visit. And the guys would, no. Every time I'm like, it'll make your fart smell like chocolate. Because they're in cocoa butter. And they would do it then,
I think my wife had actually made it out to your dispensary because I remember her coming back and being like, this one shop just handed me capsules and suppositories when I walked in. I was like, no shit.
That was us, yeah.
That's the suppository I tried.
Yay!
And I loved it. I was like, I feel great. Like, I wanted to go do stuff. Like, oh man, it was awesome.
Thank you.
All right. So with that, I think I know you guys are gonna like kind of tell me no, but I'm gonna do this because
you go ahead. You be you.
I love this. Okay, so this is a bobsled live resin. It's called Snowfall. Oh, this stuff smells so good. We're looking at 70.59% THC, no CBD, which is a little, but 11.23% terpenes.
You could take a CBD capsule with it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Here, you should smell this.
That.
It's so tasty smelling.
It does smell tasty.
Yeah. See, this is where this is my passion. Is I love the flavors. I love the effects. Like, I like the art of trimming a really pretty bud. I love just all of this. I don't know. I'm one of those hippies that makes a ritual out of it.
It's a lifestyle. It really is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Admittedly, though, like you mentioned that maybe I might be smoking a little too much of this stuff. Admittedly, I mean,
that's good that you can recognize that, though.
Yeah. Well, I've actually been having some blood pressure issues, and so now I'm on some blood pressure medication, but I think my level of smoking is kind of counteracting that a little bit. So
CBD will help bring down your blood pressure. I'm not a CBD advocate. I am a whole plant medicine advocate. But CBD is what really seems to help with that.
I'm definitely a whole plant medicine advocate too. Anytime I get people coming in that want
the isolates and whatnot, or
well they like especially like full spectrum, like RSO stuff like that. I always recommend RSO, always. It saved my wife.
But you want it made with food grade?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes. That's what we offer at our shop.
Yes, wonderful.
We're very, very specific. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit this. Okay. Why don't you give everybody watching like contact info, your website, all of that?
So we have a brand new and improved, beautiful website. It's at theackr.com, THEACKR.com. And I hope you'll go check it out because it is really, truly great. You can email us at info@theackr.com, and you can call us at 541-981-2620.
Nice. Ooh, this is... It smells very piney, but tastes very minty.
Ooh, so that pineing's going to help you breathe good.
And it starts.
It's working. I'd put an eye out doing that.
Safety.
Right, safety glasses. That's it.
Ooh. Bobsled does it right. I love Bobsled. They're an incredible company. I want to interview them.
So they're the makers of that there? Or?
Yes, this is a live resin. I don't know if you know anything about oils and processing.
I do.
Yeah?
A little bit.
Okay. Well, live resins, one of the things that I like about them is that you get so much of the terpenes. And my buddy Joel puts it incredibly well. He likes to tell customers that come in and ask questions about it, he likes to tell them that THC is like your gas pedal, CBD is like your brake, and terpenes are your steering wheel. They dictate what direction that high is going to go.
That's the absolute truth.
Mm-hmm. He's an idea guy. I love him. He's my best friend. Like, I love him. But yeah, no. I like experiencing those. I used to keep a little black notebook with like notes on the highs that I was getting, and
that's a great idea. And when patients take the different capsules and that, I ask them to keep notes on what they're taking and how it's working. Mm-hmm. And it helps so much. It saves them a whole bunch of time and money then when they go back for more. For sure. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it so much.
I'm honored that you invited us. Thank you for that.
Oh, yeah. Yes. No, like we're going to have to get back together again and talk some more.
Yes.
But yes, so Rhea, you're the owner of the...
I own Albany's Canna Kitchen Research. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mama is the company president.
Nice. Mm-hmm. You're so talkative, man. It's just been so difficult for us to conduct this interview with you over there, just controlling everything. No, that's great. Like, it's been so great to sit with you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Again, I'm really honored. Thank you for the invite.
Everybody at home, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I got so involved with this, I forgot to ask, what are you guys dabbing and smoking? My bad. I'm really interested to find out what you guys want to learn about the cannabis industry, whether it's the medical side or more of the fun recreational side like I'm working with. If there's anybody out there that is involved in the cannabis industry and wants to be heard, hit us up. You can email us at thecannabisreport.show@gmail.com and send us your info, and we'll get back to you pretty quickly because we're looking for people to talk to. Definitely drop a like and subscribe. Hit the little notification because we're coming at you weekly with news and strain reviews and everything. This snowfall is hitting me great. It's awesome.
I would like to add another plug if I could.
Go for it.
I teach classes at the Canna Kitchen on how to make the medicine you need. I do 2-hour classes. They're $200 and they are simply amazing. Mm-hmm. You will save more than $200 the first time you make medicine. You have to trust me on that, but believe me, you will. And I'll teach you how to make it right and what you need for you.
That's so cool. My wife, she makes canna butter.
Yeah.
And she's got this process that she does. It's actually pretty impressive. It gives her really impressive results. And
excellent.
Maybe we should get you guys together a little bit, and you can help her refine that. That'd be dope.
There you go.
All right. Well, thanks again so much for being here, and thank you guys for watching. Yeah. You guys keep smoking. One love. Have a good night.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Very good.